It's a good thing there are walls on the side there. That's all I can say.
Yeah, the winds have really picked up here, just in the last couple of minutes. I mean, I know you were talking to Rob just a second ago. I know he's a big guy, but I definitely think the winds are a little bit stronger right now. I got some video to show, man. I got some video to show you. Dave Rust and Sean Gibbons, our cameraman, have actually been out driving around in this weather. They came across a fire. I want to show you that video. 2 homes catching fire. Authorities did respond to it. There were fire trucks on the scene. We don't have any word on any injuries. We hope those homes have been evacuated. Most of the homes, a lot of the homes here have been evacuated already. There are a lot of police out on the streets. They're afraid of looting. But at this point, it's hard to imagine anyone looting in this kind of temperature and this kind of wind. The wind's really picking up now, minute by minute. And it's actually, what's interesting is, you know, it's actually kind of hard to breathe in this hot wind. I'm gonna take a break here. The wind really just, it sucks the air out of you. It's really quite something. I've never been in these high winds like this. I've been trying to get an accurate wind gauge. It's very hard. The equipment I have, it doesn't seem very accurate, so I can't give you an actual wind count of what it is, but it's feeling pretty rough, and it's really, we're in a little bit of a lull right now. As you can see, though, these lulls, it's interesting. I mean, they sort of dip down for a while, but as the evening progresses and as the storm gets closer and closer, I'm literally winded. This is weird. As the storm gets closer and closer, the time between these lulls lessens. And these winds are just coming on pretty steady now, full blast. It's very hard. You can't even really turn into the storm, as you well know. So you really have no sense of what's coming this way. These winds just kind of catch you by surprise, and you really just have to sort of lean into it, because you can't even just stay upright. You got to spread your legs really far apart. Luckily, our crew is, you know, we're in a pretty secure location, believe it or not. I know the picture is probably pretty bad. I know my mom's probably watching, so not all that thrilled, but it's actually, we're very safe. We took a long time to pick this location, and so we feel pretty good about it. As long as the satellite truck stays upright, we're going to try to stay on the air, Miles.
Yeah, I'm afraid we might have a worried mom on her hands there, Anderson. You know, it's worth pointing out to people that on the last advisory, which is now 40 minutes old, so you can, you know, extrapolate a little bit, but you're about 80 miles from the eye, and you're getting that tremendous battering already, which means that will be, not only is it very strong, but it's going to be very strong for a very long period of time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. I mean, I can't even really imagine what it's going to be like. I mean, you know, I thought it was bad 2 hours ago. I thought it was bad an hour ago. It gets worse and worse and worse. You know, Rob Marciano was telling me, you know, the highest winds, I guess they've been tracking sustained winds, about 135 miles an hour. He keeps explaining to me that, you know, obviously we're not going to feel that in all areas. That's sort of the upper limit of the sustained winds. But, you know, assuming we're at like 60, 70 mile an hour winds at this point, which may be even on the high end of what we're at, you know, if this thing breaks 100, I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. It'll be very interesting to see, you know, what's it like even trying to broadcast in those kind of high winds.
Yeah, you might be hearing from Mom then. Let's talk about that fire for just a moment.
Yeah.
It looked like there were some trucks there, but it also looked like the firefighters weren't doing much to fight that fire. It's sort of letting it burn out. I suspect it would be very, very dangerous for them to do their job in these circumstances.
Yeah, you know, we talked to the mayor earlier tonight. We're getting a little bit of a lull here, which is nice. We can actually talk in a normal tone of voice. We're getting the mayor was saying they put 1,500 police officers and security personnel on the streets here in Mobile. They have had experience with looting in the past. The mayor keeps saying that people come from out of town knowing that a lot of homes are going to be left open. So they have a lot of police officers, a lot of emergency personnel on the street. But you're right, Miles. I mean, you know, in winds like this, it is too dangerous. And authorities repeatedly tell people, whether it's in Florida or here or in any of the states that are under, you know, severe storm warnings at this point, they say, you you know, at the height of the storm, if you call 911, it's very likely police are not going to be able to get to you for a very long period of time, and it is simply too dangerous for the officers. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if the fire personnel who are on the scene, you know, simply judge it too dangerous to try to go out there. What we did see, though, earlier, it was a large explosion, really the sky lighting up. That was one of those electrical transformers blowing up. Parts of Mobile already without electricity, but surprisingly, the electricity in this part at least, or this hotel, has stayed on. We're still able to check the path of the storm on our computers, so that's a good thing. The other thing that Dave Russ and Sean Gibbons mentioned when they were out, and I got to tell you, the fact these guys were out driving in this condition, I mean, they are, you know, they're pretty tough guys, but they were saying they have not seen as much flooding as they anticipated. They had seen a few power lines down. Yeah, okay, this is a big gust right there. They have seen a few power lines down, a few trees down, but really not as much flooding as they had anticipated at this point, Miles.
Well, but it's worth pointing out it's kind of early on that point to really talk about storm surge just yet. It's a little early in the game, and as I'm told, you know, the waters of Mobile Bay are very shallow, relatively, obviously, compared to the deeper portions of the Gulf, and that really makes the storm surge a lot worse. And of course, you've got a tightly constricted area of water, so that impact of a 16-foot storm surge is really going to mean something. I hope you're still able to hear me, Anderson.
No, I hear you, Miles. I hear you. Yeah, it really is. I mean, a 15-foot storm surge, as we've been telling you all night. I mean, you know, 12 feet above sea level is where we're at right now, where this hotel is at. 15 feet is just going to it's going to wreak havoc on this downtown area. I mean, it could be like, I think Chad Myers, the meteorologist for CNN earlier, was saying, you know, a 12-block area in downtown Mobile could be affected. You know, I'm kind of looking around to see if CNN brought a boat, because it looks like, I hope it doesn't happen, but it looks like we're going to have some difficulty just getting around tomorrow, Miles.
All right, Anderson Cooper, we're going to let you get a little shelter for a little while, and we're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to check back in with all of our reporters who are all along the shores of the Gulf in the 4 states affected by all this. We're also going to check in with Jason Bellini, who is in New Orleans. Jason, what's going on there?
Well, we're on the 14th floor of a hotel in the French Quarter with a family that has vertically evacuated. We'll have their story coming up after the break.